Welcome back to G-Man P the Great TV. If you tuned in, hit a like, share, subscribe. If not, we ain't doing no tripping. And I appreciate all the new subscribers and the people that's tuned in. I appreciate it. We're going to take off where we left off last Monday. Then the Tuesday, we was talking about Wiccan. Today, we're going to be talking about different trials back in the day that witches went. They was put on trial. See how people running around here doing witchcraft back in the day, they'd hang you from a tree doing that type shit. So we gonna get to it. First, we're gonna talk about, let me scoot y'all up a little bit. First, we're gonna be talking about, it's called the Salem Witchcraft Trials. People are still trying to determine why a court of law would have indicted, tried, found guilty, sentenced to death, and executed 19 men and women in Salem Village in 1692 for the line crime of witchcraft. In the September 7th, 2015 issue of the New Yorker, Stacy Schiff article, The Witches of Salem, Diabolical Doings in a Puritan Village. Was witchcraft if any man or woman be a witch, that is, has or consults with a familiar spirit, they should be put to death. Read the Massachusetts body of law. This law appears in the General Law and Liberties of Massachusetts Bay. So, Mr. President, ain't that the state you from, Massachusetts? Y'all was big on witchcraft, huh? You big on witchcraft, huh? Let's get to it. Let me hold my composure. We're gonna get back to it. But Mr. President, that's in your state. I'm reading stuff from your state, Mr. President. In 1956, Chapter 145 of the resolve relative to the indictment, trial, convictions, executions of Anne Pruditor and certain other persons for witchcraft. In the year 1692, 1692, the General Court of Massachusetts issued a kind of apology to the province chapter in the law of Massachusetts, as it then was, were and are shocking, and the results of a wave of popular hysterical fear of the devil in the community. Went on to name 5 other women who fit in the category of certain other persons. Massachusetts trial courts, Essex Law Library can direct you to more information about the Salem trials, including a wealth of material. Douglas Linder's famous American Trials website. Okay, we're going to go on. I'm going to show you. Okay. Trial court law libraries. There are 15 trial court law libraries located across Massachusetts to serve the courts, attorneys, and the public. We are here to help you with your legal information needed. Back in the day, this is a picture of them. That person standing there, that's the judge of Massachusetts. Witchcraft law up to the Salem witchcraft trial of 1692. Accusations swelled, and soon many people had been examined and jailed awaiting trial. What laws were followed during the Salem witch trial of 1692? Under the original Royal Chapter 1629 of Massachusetts Bay Colony, criminal law was administered by the Courts of Assistance, which consisted of the governor, the deputy governor, and a number of assistants. There was no statutory criminal law in the colony at that time, and without legal training, the court of assistants judged case and punishment based on what they knew of English law and by their instincts of what they thought was right. The primary English law about witchcraft was so-called Witchcraft Act of 1604. Actually, an act against conjuration, witchcraft, and dealing with evil and wicked spirits. This made witchcraft a felony. A witch convicted of minor offenses could receive a year in prison, but any witch accused and found guilty a second time was sentenced to death. So a witch get caught once, you get a year in prison. A witch get caught twice, you're sentenced to death. In 1641, the General Court, the legislative body of Massachusetts Bay Colony, drafted the Body of Libertary, a collection of civil and criminal laws and rights. Most of these were later included in the colony's first printed compilation of status issued as the Book of General Laws and Liberties concerning the inhabitants of Massachusetts, 1648. The body of libertaries originally had 12 capital offenses, including witchcraft. The law on witchcraft was short and cited biblical sources for its authority. If any man or woman be a witch, that is, half or consumed with a familiar spirit, they shall be put to death. In practice, few people were executed for witchcraft before the Salem witchcraft trial of 1692. Instead, juries were reluctant to convict, or accused were given sentences for lighter offenses. In the English tradition, although the rules of evidence was vague, legal experts insisted on clear and convincing proof accused had acted with magical powers given by the devil. Even confessions were considered doubtful without other evidence. So-called spectral evidence, in which a victim testifies to experience an attack by a witch in spirit form, invincible to everyone else, was not accepted as evidence. The Salem witchcraft trial of 1692 happened at the worst possible time. The chapter of the colony had been temporarily suspended 1684 to 1691 due to political and religious fractions between the colony and England. A new chapter, 1691, arrived from England in May 1692, along with the new governor, but as yet, General Court had not had time to create any laws. Nevertheless, the new governor created a special court, the Court of Oyer and Terminer, to hear and determine, to deal with the witch cases. The commission that created this court said that the judges were to act accordingly to the law and custom of England and of their majestic province, but this ignored the difference between the law of England and the old laws of New England. In the absence of guidance by Pacific colony laws and acting in consonance with the general paranoia of the community, the judges famously accepted spectral evidence and other untrustworthy kind of evidence as proof of guilt. Moreover, the magistrates let it be known that an accused witch could avoid execution by confessing, repenting, and putting the blame on someone else. This caused the accusations to multiply. 19 men and women were executed by hanging. One was killed by torture, and the other died in prison. In October 1692, the governor dissolved the court of Oyer and Terminer. And December 1692, the general court passed an act against conjuration, witchcraft, and dealing with evil and wicked spirits. This law modeled on the English Witchcraft Act of 1604, mandating the death penalty for severe acts and repeat offenders, and imprisonment for lesser acts. A new superior court adjudicator was created to serve as the highest court in Massachusetts. And in January 1693, it began to hear the remaining witch trials. More importantly, the governor instructed the judges not to accept spectral evidence as a proof of guilt. Therefore, most of the remaining witch trials resulted in acquittals. The governor pardoned the rest. The time of witchcraft hysteria in Massachusetts was over. So, more than anything, it's just like all the stuff that I've been coming up on here talking about, I haven't been lying. And this information I get this stuff from is the Freedom of Information Act. Anybody can go up on there and get information. It's straight from the federal government themselves. So everything that I'm saying, the federal government's proven that I'm not a liar. I'm a truth teller. You dig? But yeah, I just wanted to get into that. You know, I'm back. I'm gonna start doing my little videos on a daily basis back again, you know. And, you know, just trying to push out motivation to certain people, you know what I mean? As in motivate myself and just staying with it. But tomorrow we're gonna go on some more information on witches and witchcraft. But it just clearly states back in the day, you died for witchcraft. They had a separate court system just for witchcraft. You understand? And the crazy thing is, this is the state that the president's from. You understand? And the people at the top, billionaires, they're all into witchcraft. Believe me when I tell you. Why do you think they age and get all sick and can't? They act like they act like they got Alzheimer's. Is because it's all the witchcraft they're doing, the backfire witch magic. So everybody that was tuned in to G-Man, Peter, great. I appreciate it. To the ones that didn't, we ain't doing no tripping. Peace.